far will you go to protect your family? Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and today, guys, we are talking about a classic Stephen King book. But before we get into it, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help the channel grow. You can check the description box down below for links to all of my social media, including my Patreon/book club, which you can join for as little as $1 a month, and it greatly helps the channel, or an awesome Discord community. Links in the description box down below. With that out of the way, we are talking about 1992's Dolores Claiborne by Stephen King. And I read this one on a whim, and I think I finished it in 2 to 3 sittings. It was a really, really engaging story about a woman who is essentially confessing her life story and her crimes to a police detective. The structure of this book is very, very interesting for a Stephen King book because it has no chapters, much like a Discworld novel. It is almost like a police interrogation transcript. There are asides where, like, Dolores asks for a drink or something like that, and she just wants to get it all out in the open because Dolores has a reputation. And the story spans, this story takes place in the 90s. I think it spans all the way from the 50s to the 90s, and it jumps around on the timeline quite a bit. But essentially, this is a story about a woman who is willing to do anything to protect her children from the man that she married. It's wild. Basically, there is a wild speculation on this island that back in the 60s, Dolores killed her husband. And this is the story of her not only confessing to that crime in order to basically, like, clear up any foggy misunderstandings due to the fact that another one of the characters in the story had just recently died in the modern timeline. Her employer, Vera, who is this upper crust woman who Dolores went from housekeeper to caretaker for. And it's just this really engaging story of this woman being like, hey, this is my life. This is what I've had to do to survive. Things were different. And I would like to think that people would do something similar if they were in my shoes. And it's a really, really engaging story. It does have a couple low moments. Specifically at the very beginning of the book, we deal with Dolores kind of in her role as caretaker for Vera. And Vera is now, she's bedridden, she's got dementia, things of that nature. And the things that go into being a caretaker for somebody with those issues it's not fun to read for me. This is one of the biggest low points of the novel for me, because Vera likes to play pranks on Dolores by soiling herself, which is just, like, I get it, but it wasn't fun for me to particularly read, and so that section just didn't particularly land for me all that well. But the series and the book does get better as we go into basically the struggles between Dolores and her husband, Joe. Joe is just kind of like, she married Joe when she was very young. She fell in love with his forehead. That was a bit weird. And whenever she, like, tries to find a good trait about Joe, it's, he had a nice forehead. And I'm just like, I don't know if I've ever been, like, looking at somebody and been like, oh man, that's a nice forehead. So that's also a bit off. This is, I would class this as like a really good Stephen King novel, but it's not one of my favorites due to these just small critiques here. Like, I don't particularly enjoy reading about people soiling themselves or being attracted to people because of their foreheads. It's just a personal thing for me. But basically, she got pregnant very, very young by Joe. And so they got married, as, you know, people in that day and age did. And I believe they got married in the 50s or 60s. And very, very early on, the marriage turned sour. Joe doesn't really have a very good work ethic. He's abusive. He's hard drinking. He's a liar. He's deceitful to the people on the island where the story takes place. And then, like, it takes a much darker turn. To the point where, like, there does need to be, like, a little bit of a trigger warning here, where, like, I don't think this is technically a horror novel. It does have more of a psychological sort of, like, this is more of, like, a confession to, like, a murder mystery type of deal. And when Dolores finds out what's going on, she realizes she has to take drastic steps. And she tries to take reasonable steps first, only to be blocked and feeling trapped. And then the story kind of goes on from there. And it's a really, really engaging story. Another thing, and again, I'm going to throw another critique in here, is Vera, throughout the story, is during her dementia period, not during the 60s when everything's going on, is scared of dust bunnies. And it's just like, I know that with dementia, like things aren't quite clicking correctly in people's brains. It felt very strange to be like scared of dust bunnies, because it's alluding to there might be like a psychological issue with the dust bunnies, where like the dust bunnies might be representing something else, like they might be haunted by things that they have done in their life. And that's all well and good. It's just another element that doesn't work for me. So overall, I found Dolores's characterization to be very good. I like the way she deals with Joe. I really liked her relationship with Vera when we're kind of dealing with the younger timeline. Not so much the dynamic with the older timeline, because that didn't so much work for me. I liked how Dolores expresses her frustration at having to be this caretaker for this woman, because, you know, Vera's always been particularly, like, particular about the way that things are done in her household. She was known as being a hard taskmaster when she hired maids to keep up her house and stuff like that. And so, you know, like, we address the fact that Vera's very hard to, like, work with. And it gets even worse when she becomes a caretaker. And, yeah, I really like their relationship dynamic. And I like the fact that there seems to be a mutual respect between these two women. And overall, the story ended up working for me. If I'm going to give it a rating, we're going to give it a rating of probably a B+ to an A-. I really, really enjoyed this Stephen King novel. I found it engaging. I thought the pace moved very well. There was just those little elements where I was just like, I don't really work. That doesn't really work for me. Now, I did consume this on audiobook, and it does have a very nice production with it. One narrator, whose name is escaping me, but there were asides where, like, if she asked for a drink, you would hear a drawer open where they take out a bottle, or a pouring of a liquid and stuff like tiny little details to kind of enhance the feeling that this is a police interrogation. So I did like that fact of the audio production doing it that way. If we're just going off the audio production, I would give the performance from the narrator a solid A. Very, very good. Does accents very well. I think her name was like Rebecca something. I don't know. I'll put it on screen. But very, very good audio production. And overall, I would definitely give this one a recommend to people who are interested in reading Stephen King. I wouldn't maybe recommend this as the first Stephen King that people read, but I would maybe recommend it in the top 10 to 15 books for Stephen King lovers to give a try, because it was just a really interesting read. And it kind of scratched that Stephen King itch that I've just been having for the last couple of weeks. It was a really, really nice read. That's all I've really got for today, guys. I hope you are doing well. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have read this one, what your thoughts on it were. Did you enjoy it? There is a movie adaptation. I have not watched the movie adaptation, but I'd be curious to know if it is worth a watch. So again, let me know in the comments down below if that is something I should go check out. It's supposed to be one of the best King movie adaptations that has been done. So yeah, that's all I've really got for today, guys. I hope you are doing well. Till next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons. Thank you for supporting my passion and my hobby. It means the world to me.